What's going on, boys? It is week 5 of Path to Profitability. So, it's Wednesday right now, Wednesday night currently. I am going to, kind of break down all my trades tomorrow. It's super late at night right now, and I kind of just wanted to come on here and talk about, I guess, just where I'm at. I had a really good end to the week last week, and then coming into this week, I had a good loss on Monday. It was a loss that I felt really okay about. Like it was a good trade, a trade I felt pretty good about. I felt I executed very well on it, um, but ultimately lost. And then Tuesday, yesterday, I just I just basically pissed away like 2 good weeks of progress, bro. And just this stage right now, I'm I'm focusing on being more consistent now about it because I never really identified that that was the problem before, but I would just I would have a bad trading day, and then I would acknowledge what I did wrong, what was going wrong, figuring out what I was doing wrong to lead to that bad trade, you know. I typically follow my rules, but I've been struggling lately with pattern trades and just taking like poor setups like that. Taking trades where I know that there's more going against me. Um, and yeah, so I don't even know if I can really show it, but I've put a bunch of sticky notes on the top and on the bottom and the sides of my monitors. Can't really see these ones, but um, and I have a full checklist now that I got to kind of go through in order for me to enter a trade. So with that, yeah, I'm just focusing on being a lot more consistent in my trades because yes, I'm great at being self-aware and acknowledging what I'm doing wrong, where I'm going wrong. But what I've been struggling with is being consistent and, not making those same mistakes again. A loss is only a lesson when you learn from it. And if I'm just going to continue to, make the same mistake over and over again, then who am I to tell people that I'm going to make trading work, right? I have no right if that's the case because I'm not taking myself serious enough. And, that's just the simple reality of it. And I need to be a man and just follow my damn rules. I need to be a man, follow my checklist, take the trades that I know I need to take, manage the trades how I know I need to manage. That's something you guys will see. I took a great trade today, an amazing trade, very patient, waited for a setup. I acknowledged kind of what was going against me, and I still was willing to put the risk on the table because of what was in my favor, um, and it was looking great. It would have played out, but I got greedy. I started trailing my stop super tight after we hit my break even point. We started to move up a little bit. I started to trail my stop super tight, and that's not how I usually manage trades. Sorry. And then I got stopped in profit, and then I re-entered with one micro, and I got stopped out right away. I feel like I had reason for it to go up, but I got stopped out right away. Right, so lost some of my profits there. Just like stuff like that, bro. Like I know not to do that, and I just let my emotions take over and kind of control my decision making in that moment. So going forward, I'm done. I'm done with that. I'm done with that. Execution was great today. A great step, a great recovery from yesterday, and just momentum that I got to continue to carry. Trade management wasn't great, and that's luckily that's the easy part to fix. So I'm going into tomorrow just with these constant learning experiences, but now it's time to really just continue to put them into practice every day and be consistent with it. That's what I've been struggling with, and I'll be better for it. So yeah, I will update you guys more tomorrow and talk about my trades more tomorrow. It's just super late, so yeah. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of this video. Yeah. All right, boys. Well, it's the next day. I'll go over my trades from the previous days after. I won't have them on the screen. I'll pull up screenshots. I'll pull up my journal, but I'm not gonna have them like completely on the screen. But just gonna talk about my trade from today. So coming into today at a neutral bias, we're kind of stuck in this range here. Um, Overnight we took hourly highs, and we were reacting out of a bearish daily fair value gap that we have inverse now, so I'll be looking for all-time highs tomorrow. But anyways, yeah, we're reacting out of that bearish daily gap. We had a pretty big rejection wick, and then off of that, we opened up a high time frame PD array here with an hourly, 30-minute, and a 15-minute. So what I was looking for in market open, I was leaning more bearish just because we opened this up. We did tap into that weekly bullish PD array and formed a pretty strong move up off of it, but I was kind of just using this as a pullback. Thought we would take these lows and then move higher, but it didn't end up working out that way. Yeah, but anyways, so we kind of did get what I want. We tapped into this high time frame PD right here, the 15-minute. We're holding CE of this 15-minute perfectly, and then I was basically just looking for an inversion off of this. I had a few different opportunities to enter, and I faded the first two. So the first one was this tap, this liquidity sweep here, tapped into our high time frame PD array, and then we got a 30-second here. Actually might be a very small 1 minute there. Yeah, small 1 minute, but I chose to fade this either way. Wasn't clean enough for me, and I don't take 30-second inversions. Every time I take 30-second inversions, I get burnt on them. So I've decided that I am not taking those anymore. It just doesn't work for me. I don't. I like the 1 minute inversions plus. It works a lot better for me. The next opportunity was this one. We swept the high that we just put in, and then got a 3-minute inversion. Couple reasons I faded this. Wasn't a huge fan of the closure on NQ. We have this rejection wick here, not the cleanest. And then also ES did not get the inversion here. Let's see if I can find it. Let's see if I can find it. I'm not going to be able to find it, am I? Bang, right here. You guys can see ES did not close it. We had a big rejection wick on ES too. So kind of what I was thinking off of this. Why can't it just keep me in the same spot, man? Yo, I'm going to say this right now. Trade C is kind of a bugged platform. I know it's new. Pretty bugged. Pretty bugged for sure. The fills on Trade C are terrible. Terrible fills. Anyways. Yeah. We pulled back again after a 3-minute inversion on NQ. Did not raid this high. That's kind of what I was thinking was going to happen. But instead, we just pulled back slightly and then got a 1-minute inversion off of it. I did not enter off this 1-minute inversion. I could have, but I just didn't feel as comfortable because we didn't take this high. So I wanted to wait for a CISD, and that's what we got. We got candle closure below these body lows. Strong CISD. Entered here, put my stops above this internal high here. Came a bit into drawdown, scared me a little bit. I won't even lie to you. But then we had a very strong reaction off of it. I went break even at this low, and looking back at it, I shouldn't have. I definitely shouldn't have. There was a 5-minute here on ES and a 3-minute bullish fair value gap on NQ. That said, I shouldn't have went break even here because these are unsponsored gaps. It's an unsponsored 5 minutes, an unsponsored 3-minute. There's no high time frame kind of sponsoring backing this fair value gap here. Obviously, a 3-minute or a 5-minute here is probably going to pose some kind of reaction. Like, that's a given, right? Even though we inversed the 3-minute on NQ, I think the 5-minute held on ES, and that's why we got the slight reaction, ticking me out, break even, and then running to pretty much my full stop. I would have started trailing once we broke below this low, so I would have got stopped either way, probably right around here for about a 1-to-1. But yeah, I mean, I shouldn't have went break even. There's an unsponsored gap. It's obviously going to result in a slight pullback. Just trying to secure profits a little bit too much, and I should have just kind of trusted the system here. But now I have that data. I know from now on, I will not be going break even if we're trading through a fair value gap unless that fair value gap is sponsored. That is the only reason I will be going break even on these kind of trades. But yeah, just got to be better with my break evens. Trade management is something that I'm still just kind of building discretion with and getting better at. So just chipping away at that. But either way, it was a great trade idea, good execution. It nearly played out to my full TP for almost a 1 to 2.5. But instead, we reacted here kind of off nothing and just started pumping again. So happens, but yeah, shouldn't have went B. Got the data for it though, and yeah, I will open up my journal and show you guys my trades from the last couple days here. All right, so my trade from yesterday, here it is. It was actually great execution. I just managed the trade pretty poorly. Then I re-entered kind of dumbly, just with one micro, so I didn't lose much. I got stopped in profit anyway, so I didn't hit my full profit. But I thought we would go higher, which we eventually did. But I entered on a micro after I got stopped in profit because I was trailing way too tight, and I got burned for it. So trade management issues. That's kind of why I was so focused on going break even today, just because I didn't manage my trade too well yesterday, so I wanted to make up for it. But ultimately, it's just data from both days, so I'm grateful for that, and just got things to take away and learn. So grateful for that. But the trade, so we are kind of chopping around off market open. Um, I had a bullish bias as we were reacting out of the weekly gap, but we were kind of starting to be stagnant as market open. So I wanted to wait until 10 a.m. I wanted to wait for the 4 hour candle to close, because the way it closed, we opened a 4 hour fair value gap at the low of the candle. So I waited until 10 a.m. to close, waited for that 4 hour fair value gap to open. I waited for us to trade into that 4 hour fair value gap, and we got a external SMT there. Off that, I wasn't looking for an inversion right away. I wanted to wait for a 5 minute to form. 5 minutes, so it was sponsored by that 4 hour, and that's what we got. A 5 hour formed. We traded into it, and then we got the 1 minute inversion. It took a little while to close, as you guys can see. ES was just a little bit lagging behind. So I ended up having to wait for both of these inversions. I would typically just enter off this first 1 minute here, because there was no like 2 minute or 3 minute or anything there. 1 minute was the highest time frame fair value gap. So I wanted to enter off this one here, but ES was lagging behind, like I said, so I didn't get the entry there. But we pumped up. I wanted to actually go break even initially at this internal high, but I figured that once we took that high, we would probably react, come lower, and I would have got broken even. So I'm happy I didn't, and I'm happy that I read the market that way, because it would have played out. But once we broke this internal high, that's when I went break even, and I started trailing super tight for whatever reason. I can't really remember why I started trailing so tight. I think just cause like honestly, dude, I have no reasoning, just greed and yeah, greed and wanting to see the green number get bigger. I had a bad day on Tuesday, so I was just trying to make up for it yesterday, and that led to me just being super greedy and not following my rules, because I re-entered after I got hit. My trailing stop got hit. I re-entered with one micro. I did truly think we were gonna hit this high here, and we did eventually, but we had to pull back lower and then move higher. So I lost some of my profits that I got, but like I said, good learning experience. I've done that before, and I've got burned every time doing it. So I'm definitely not going to be re-entering off stupid, dumb little like continuation moves after getting stopped in profit or broke even. Like, it just doesn't make sense. I could have re-entered today, for example, and I literally just left my PC. I just went to the gym after, because I was like, okay, if I stay here and look at this any longer, I'm gonna re-enter, and yeah, it might play out, but at the end of the day, I've gotten burned so many times doing that it's like, so I chose to just leave my PC, and I think it was for the best. Trade before that, oh boy, yeah. So Tuesday was probably my worst day of trading in quite a while, bro. I broke a bunch of different rules, and it all just started with this first trade initially. So I had the right idea here. I had a bearish bias. We were trading towards that weekly for value gap. That was a super strong draw on liquidity for us. So I wanted to see that. We were forming a leg down. We had high time frame PD arrays. You guys can see I have them marked out here. We had a high time frame PD arrays. So off open, I just wanted to see us trade into those high time frame PD arrays, give us a reaction so we could trade low, or a reversal, sorry, so we could trade lower to my draw on liquidity. The first trade I took, complete pattern trade. Okay, complete pattern trade. We had an SMT. We traded into a 50-minute fair value gap, and I entered off this 1 minute inversion here. Honestly, like, mechanically, it's a good setup. Mechanically, I saw everything I needed for my model there. I traded correctly. I saw what I needed to see. But it just didn't make sense, bro. It really just did not make sense, to trade this early. We obviously, we had to pull back further. Very rarely do we react off that first 15-minute fair value gap, right? Or just happen to like a 30 or an hourly and react off of it, right? We usually have to trade into CE at least, or one of the last presented gaps. So this was a complete pattern trade right here. Again, mechanically it was good, but it was just a dumb trade. It was just a dumb trade, and one that I really did not need to take. I should have been more patient. I was just rushing this. I lost a trade on Monday too, so just completely rushing this again. And it's like, bro, I just didn't need to do that, right? So got stopped out of this pretty quickly. And usually I call it there. Usually I'm done on the markets for this day, or for the day if I take a loss. But I felt pretty confident in my draw and liquidity, so I wanted to take another stab at it. And so yeah, after I got stopped out, we traded higher into another 15 minute. We put in another external SMT. We got a super strong inversion. I can't remember exactly why I didn't enter off this inversion initially. I think ES maybe didn't close right, or just the fact that we might have had a higher time frame PD array other than this one, or inversion other than this one, and the closure was not great. I think that was what it was. But we also had a 5 minute that we were trading through in here. So once we got the reaction off the 5 minute, we came into our low time frame order block here. I think there was a 3 minute fair value gap as well, and then we got a 1 minute inversion, and that's where I entered. I entered off the 1 minute inversion and CISD, or just closure below the lows. And I got stop break even. Once we took this low, we traded up, wicked me out by 1 point again, and then traded lower. So I've learned my lesson with break evens. Okay, if we have a low inside of a 5 minute or a 3 minute, and it's unsponsored, right? And that's where I want to set my BE. I ain't doing that shit no more, because yes, we're gonna get a reaction. It's a low time frame liquidity sweep and tapping into a low time frame PD array. Obviously, that's gonna give us a small reaction, right? Especially if my entry is like 20 points away, there's a chance of me getting wicked out break even, and that's what's happened 2 days in a row now. So I will not be going break even here. I think for next time I'll go break even at these lows, because these are way more prominent, and these are more likely to pose a stronger reaction, especially when we have a weekly fair value gap down here and just no sponsorship on this low time frame PD array. So yeah, that was the problem with that break even. And then yeah, that's the crazy thing. And then I hop on the charts. I hop on the charts later in the day to trade PM session. Greed, complete greed. I just literally wanted to fix my red number. I can't really remember this trade. I can't remember the ins and outs of this trade. Yeah, I know we tapped into the weekly for value gap, and then we got a strong reaction off of it. I'm pretty sure this was a reaction out of a 15 minute or a 5 minute. I can't remember for sure. I'll have to look into my journal again after I end this video. I just don't want to do that for your guys' sake. I don't want to read through it for your guys' sake. But this was a 15 minute or a 5 minute reacting out of the weekly. Pretty sure we had an SMT here as well. Inversion, 1 minute inversion. It was good execution, good trade, if I didn't take 2 trades already that day. And then yeah, just a complete boneheaded move by me. So we traded out of that weekly fair value gap. We formed quite a big leg up. We swept some highs, reacting out of high time frame bearish PD arrays now, and then started to form a leg down. With that, we were reacting out of these high time frame bearish PD arrays. We formed a 5 minute bearish fair value gap that I ultimately was trading through. I don't even know, bro. It just because I saw myself go break even earlier in that day and get stopped out pretty quick. For some reason, I did not. I noticed it was a sponsored 5 minute, and I was just like, okay, I'm gonna hold because greed. I want to see a green number. That's basically it. So I held this trade. This is the one, right? Yeah. I held this trade, assuming we would make it through this sponsored bearish 5 minute, and it dumped right to my stop loss. So that's a frustrating trade. That's a frustrating day. This was Tuesday. I traded like shit, and I literally had a damn epiphany after that. I was like, dang, bro, I need to change something because I can't keep doing this, bro. I was so frustrated after it because I just felt like I've been stuck at this break-even point for so long. I bought my first eval at the start of December, first ever eval. I haven't passed one legitimately since then. I've passed them through CPI, but I also don't blow a ton either. It's like I've blown maybe 4 or 5 accounts. It's like I'm just stuck at this weird break-even stage. And I was like, dude, I'm tired of this. I'm tired of feeling like this. I'm tired of dealing with this. I'm tired of telling people that I'm profitable and that, telling my mom that she won't have to worry about money ever again because of me. And then I come on the market every day and I keep making dumbass mistakes like this. I keep repeating the same shit. I go through a period of making mistakes. I correct them. I identify what I'm doing wrong. I correct them. I have a great week or two, and then I just fall back into the same shit. So, I actually mentioned on the first part of this video that I made last night, but I have a bunch of sticky notes all around my monitor now to make sure that I'm not doing any dumb shit. So, a little bit more locked in now. And then Monday, I took a loss as well, but this was a great trade. A plus setup. A plus setup. Again, I can't remember the ins and outs of it completely. I'm going to have to look through my journal again when I'm doing my weekly review tomorrow. But yeah, this was a PM session trade. It was an amazing trade. I was focused. I was patient. I waited for us to trade into... I believe this was a 5-minute, sponsored 5-minute. Got the liquidity sweep at the bottom. We had our internal SMT, and then we got a strong 1-minute inversion with the CISD. A plus setup, and I just got stopped. That's a statistical loss that I'm very, very, very happy about. The only problem with this one is that we had the weekly fair value gap below us. So obviously that was our draw on liquidity. We didn't end up hitting the weekly fair value gap till the next day, but that was always the draw. So this is just a statistical loss, honestly. Like, draw on liquidity, just kind of wrong. And yeah, that's literally it. So not upset with that loss, but I'm definitely upset with Tuesday. Upset with how I managed the trade yesterday, but it was a good trade. And then today, oh my days, bro, what's going on? Holy blick. Today, just small mistake, but like, I don't think it was a trade management issue or an execution issue. That was just like market experience. That was just a market experience moment. So I got that data from it. I get to learn from it. And yeah, overall, it hasn't been my best week for sure, but I've learned a lot. I feel like these weeks that I don't have like my best performance, I learn a lot from them. But at this point, it's just about being consistent with what I learn, taking what I learn into the market every day and not allowing myself to kind of like stray away from what I learned. Because, a loss is a lesson at the end of the day, but it's only a lesson if you take something away from it, learn from it, and don't make that mistake again. So I got to stop making these mistakes. I got to be consistent with what I learn and just taking what I learn into the market for forever, right? So just that's my main issue right now, is just being consistent with my kind of like righting my wrongs, being consistent and not allowing those wrongs to kind of come out again, and not allowing those mistakes to happen again. So that's it right now at this point, but I feel pretty good about where I'm at. I know I'm literally right there, bro. I'm literally right there. You guys are gonna see me start ripping payouts soon, and that's the most amazing thing to just think about and comprehend, because my life is literally this close to changing drastically. I already have it, but the physical reality is this close to changing drastically, and it's catching up very quickly. So I'm just so grateful, man, to take things away from the market every day and learn every day. But it's on me now to just be consistent, follow my rules, be disciplined, recognize whenever my emotions are arising and trying to sabotage my trading. But I'm in a good spot. That concludes, I guess, today. I'll get back to you guys tomorrow with whatever happens. If I trade, this might be the end of the video if I don't trade tomorrow. So if it is, I hope you guys have a great weekend. There's a bank holiday on Monday, so it's going to be a shortened week next week. But yeah, I feel great. I feel great about where I'm at. Learning every day, growing every day. Business is doing great. Trading is going very well, and I know I'm right there. So just life is good. Summer's coming. It's getting warm out. So man, I'm in a great spot. I'm blessed. Life is good. Hope you guys enjoy. I'll see you tomorrow. Hopefully, if I don't, then I don't. Then I'll see you guys next week. But yeah. trade recap for the day. Had a bullish bias coming into market open today, but it was just kind of weird opening up because we were reacting off this 4 hours or 1 hour there too, and then we had inversed this bullish 1 hour, but coming into open we were reacting so bullishly. We had a ton of 30 minutes here and 50-minute fair value gaps opening up here, so I still was bullish. I just wanted that extra confirmation, and once that 10 a.m. candle closed, we had inversed this 4-hour gap and the 1-hour gap, so I was a lot more comfortable with taking a bullish position here. We also opened up another 1 hour fair value gap here. What I wanted to see after the 10 a.m. candles closed, I wanted to see us trade back into this 1 hour to get a reaction higher. That's exactly what we did. We traded lower, price moved lower, and we actually traded into this last presented 15-minute, putting in an external SMT. ES also had reason to distribute as we were trading through into a 30-minute and a 1 hour fair value gap too. So both pairs had reasons to distribute. I was honestly going to look for a 5-minute continuation off this 15-minute, but we had such a strong inversion here on the 1 minute charts. Super strong inversion on both pairs. Typically, I don't love taking inversions off like a pretty strong move down like this, but this one had a lot of momentum. We had really good closure. The candle body was super nice. I think overall we just want to move higher, and I really felt confident with this position, so I chose to enter off that 1 minute. ES was trading through a sponsored 5-minute and a 15-minute, so once we hit this high on NQ, that was the 15-minute on ES, I went break even here. So once we hit about 1 to 1 in this trade, I went break even, and then once we ultimately hit this high here, which was the 15-minute on ES, that's when I started to trail my stops pretty tight. I started trailing at the bottom of the candle bodies of the previous candle closure, and as you guys can see, we edged me a little bit, but yeah, we ultimately got like another 20-30 points because I was just trailing my stop and letting price run. So it worked out really well. This trade played out nicely for me. Great end to the week. It was an up and down week, but I ended very nicely. Right now, I'm just focusing on being consistent in what I learn and kind of adopting what I learn into my trading. That's just what I'm focusing on mostly right now. But yeah, great trade, and yeah.